All right, not every producer uploading beats to the internet is rich and famous. I interview a lot of producers who are doing well and making a living off of the beats that they upload, but I'm going to start interviewing more producers who are on the verge of quitting their jobs, who are starting to see progress as they build their beat leasing businesses from the ground up, because these experiences can inform us and they can motivate us quite a bit, because a lot of people are in the position where they're starting to see progress, or maybe they're not starting to see progress and they just need to see other people who haven't quite made it but are living, breathing examples of the process, not just the end result. So today I'm talking to Levi Beats, who's a really talented producer. Over the last year, his numbers have started to go really crazy on Beatstars. And so on this week's free music business mentorship program session, MEC, powered by Beatstars, Beatstars.Live, Levi explained how he's building his beat leasing business from the ground up. You know, what's been working for him, what mistakes he's made, what successes he's had. So let's get into it. Let's be honest, you're not gonna find these videos anywhere else. Why? Because I make them. So it would really help me out if you subscribe. If you've already subscribed, what also really helps is if you like the video and leave a comment. It's hard in the era of clickbait videos on YouTube and negativity in the producer community, and I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. So do you currently have a job other than music?
Yeah, so I am working full-time. I do work full-time, yeah, currently. So I do music as and when I can. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, you know, I love music that much. It would never stop me from doing what I wanted to do anyway, you know, so.
Well, let me ask you this then. So from the time that you've started uploading beats online, how long did it take until you reached the point where you felt you were starting to make real progress as a business?
Probably last year. And I think that was because I just found, I think I spent a bit more time. I'm not like the best with marketing and stuff like that. I still need to learn a lot on that side. But I think one of the things that I did was, and I think, you know, producers go through this stage is you create so many different styles of music to figure out what it is that you feel you're really good at, or what you feel, or what you love doing more so, you know. Especially, I suppose, like yourself, you know, with someone that's really interested in you know, so many different genres, it's difficult to figure out what one you want to, you know, kind of stick to, and what one you find, you know, really. What's the word? Kind of gives you more motivation to do more of it, you know. And I think
for you that was R&B.
Yeah, basically, I found that last year, and it was stupid, really, because if I really think about it, that was what I was brought up with. You know, that was the music that I loved, and I still love to this day. So yeah, I just think I found it was easier for me to create that type of music than it was some of the other stuff, you know.
So when you first started uploading beats to the internet, would you say your beats were solid and ready to go, or did they still need work?
Oh no, they definitely needed work. And I've still kept them up because every now and again I'll make like a really odd sale on one of them that I'd never expect to. And I think everyone's experienced that. Everyone I speak to has said that they've experienced that for sure. But no, like when I go back and listen to them now, I was like, damn, like where was I when I created that? Like what space was I in? Because it was really bad.
Yeah, because I mean, I think a lot of creatives, period, they start making their art and they're so excited just by the process and the fact that they created something original that, you know, they really get in their own heads, and either on the one side where they think they're terrible or on the other side where they think they're amazing. And I think both of those mentalities can hold you back. But how were you able to tell that your beats needed work at that time, and how were you able to focus on improving the parts that did need work? What kind of process of analysis and introspection did you go through to reach those conclusions?
Well, at first, I think I was naive. You know what I mean? I think I was naive, thinking that I was able to compete with, you know, other producers in the community with the stuff that I was already creating. And I think just over time, I already had an ear for music, and I understood to a certain point that it wasn't where I wanted it to be. But I think one of the biggest problems I had was I was comparing myself too much to other people, and I was, getting frustrated and stuff like that. And I think, again, everyone goes through that. You compare yourself to other people, and I think what made the difference was when I just really concentrated on, my music rather than and not comparing it to other people. And I think that's where things start to change. I don't know if I actually answered your question there, because I think I went off a little bit. But
so, what else did you do throughout that process? I mean, I'm sure you had some problems with mixing early on, as most of us do. Maybe sequencing. What were some resources you used, or some habits that you formed in order to improve and even listen enough to your music in the right way so that you knew exactly what to pinpoint to fix?
Yeah. It was like watching people like yourself, joining MEC Club as well. That helped, just to get some critique and from yourself and others, and just, give some tips. But one of the other things was as well, I started to network with artists, and I started to work with them, and they was actually giving me advice on how to structure music, that kind of stuff. Because I think we all do it when we first start as a producer. We create music and it feels empty, like you feel like there's something missing, and at 9 times out of 10 you're putting too much in. And I think that was something that I did. I made it too complicated. I was putting too many sounds in it. And then after speaking with artists, they would say, like, take that out or take this out, is too much. I can't, there's too many melodies going on. I can't hear any of my own melodies. I can't add anything to it. And that really helped, figuring out, just networking with artists, networking with people like yourself, and just getting advice from people, watching tutorials, just using every single resource I could to improve. And also as well, just keep listening to music. Just keep listening in the same sound source that you're using to do your mixing and stuff. I just did the same stuff over and over and over again, kept making beats, and just over time it started to improve. And also I didn't spend too long on one beat. If I didn't like it, I would just skip and I'd go to the next one and just keep doing that, and generally just gradually improved.
Yeah, I think something that can really psych us out as beat makers, especially in today's era, is, and especially during COVID, it is how antisocial our processes can be, where we're just by ourselves in a room making a beat, and we sometimes are making the beat not with others in mind, or our target audience in mind, i.e. rappers and singers who want to license the beat, but we're thinking more in terms of just how much. Oh, we lost Levi. Well, let me continue. We'll get him back. I think the UK is censoring me. There he is. I ate too much Chinese food the last time I was in London, so they're punishing me. Yeah, I think a lot of producers, because they don't have to work directly with artists, end up in this space where they're not catering to artists or producing with the artists, in the vocalists, I should say, in mind. And that's one of those things. And so, what advice would you give Burnt Twig, for example?
I was just about to say that. I was about to say that when you get to the point where you think something sounds like it's missing, stop. So that's what I do. If I get to a point and I think it just needs one more, just something needs it, like it needs one more sound, that's when I stop, because then I think actually the sound that's missing is the vocal, which is another instrument. So I think that's where we forget, where we get stumped sometimes, and we should just stop at that point. And I think what it is people are scared to upload their beats to BeatStars, wherever it is they're uploading to, and people are not going to listen to it, or people can, going to critique and say, "Right, you've only used like 5 sounds in it, or you've only used 4. Like you've got your 4 drum sounds in 1 melody." I think people think it's kind of like subconsciously you're thinking, "I've not done enough to this beat. I've not done enough to it." Do you know what I mean? You can probably relate to that as well, because you've probably been there at some point.
Oh, me, yeah, I was notorious for doing that, but I just wouldn't finish beats, and it was ironic too, because I was working from day one, from like the first beat I ever made. I was working with rappers, and so I don't know. I think what my issue was not understanding mixing. So I would try to kind of cram my beats full of additional elements rather than just letting it be what it was. So I think no matter what, we might end up as producers tricking ourselves and just being insecure and thinking we need to add more and more and more and more and more. And really the beauty of great music often is the simplicity.
Agreed. Yeah.
So let's talk more about vocals. Let's talk about a topic that a lot of producers have asked me to speak on, and I just really haven't. And you're a great person to talk to about this. Beats with hooks. They seem to perform well for you. How did you first start connecting with singers and songwriters to put these beats with hooks together?
Just networking, really. Just networking via all different sources, social media. I met a couple through MEC Club as well, that were already kind of beat makers and singers as well. And even people, some artists that were, liking and purchasing some of my beats, I would reach out to them and say, look, would you be interested in putting some hooks on my tracks? I think it would be really nice to hear what beats would sound like, with some vocals in it. Because when you first start making beats, and I think, you're not hearing anyone, or you're not hearing any rappers or singers on your beats, so you never know what it's going to sound like. So I think it's a really good step to, hear what it would sound like with someone on it, and that also helps. When you're producing beats, and then you're getting someone to add a hook on it, it's kind of like cements even more that like you don't need to add too many sounds, So I think that's also helped me progress as a producer as well, and to keep things a bit more simplistic and not just to add too much. But in general, yeah, just working with artists, just reaching out to them, and yeah, just trying to network with people. I think that's probably the best way to do that, and you have people buying your beats, so why not ask them, Yeah,
and here's a question that a lot of other beat makers ask me all the time. In your experience, and I don't really have a great answer, in your experience, do beats with hooks sell better or about the same as just instrumentals?
For me, it's kind of a bit of both. And I think it also depends on the beat as well. Like, a lot of my stuff is R&B, so I think most people that would be looking for beats with hooks would generally be rappers, right? Because it saves them from getting a featured artist. The featured artist is already on the track. All they've got to do is add their rap or whatever they want to do, their part. Yeah, so I think it depends. I think like for my style of music, it can be good because it gives the artist maybe a little bit of an idea, and they may potentially go away and maybe use the beat and take the hook away, or just add their own one. But it might give them, it's kind of like having a songwriter in the room with you, isn't it? You've already got someone that's giving you a melody and an idea and a top line or something. So yeah, I think it really all depends on the style of music you're creating, in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually asked my email list of predominantly beat buyers. And shout out to Beatstars for the MailChimp integration.
Yeah.
And I just asked, what kind of, do you want beats with hooks? Do you want beats without hooks? What do you prefer? And I got a lot of responses, but a lot of the responses were like, I love beats with hooks, but sometimes I want beats without hooks. Or I write my own hooks, so I don't need beats with hooks unless the hook is hot. So I'm just kind of like, I guess I'll just keep doing both then. You know what I mean?
I think I think that's probably the best way to do it. I mean, you add the beat, you upload the beat with the hook and upload it without, and then they've got the option. But yeah, the best of both worlds, as Rock 5 said there.
Yeah, honestly, I think sometimes it's just good marketing too.
Yeah.
Because they'll hear the beat with the hook, see where the vocals fit in, and say, you know what, I don't love this hook because the concept isn't right for what the beat is telling me I need to write. But because I heard it with the hook, I'm going to reach out and get the version without the hook.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely... Yeah, I say it gives people kind of a starting point, or it gives them an idea of what it would sound like with an artist on it already. So, yeah, I think, I mean, again, me personally, it's kind of 50-50. I would like to do more with hooks, I think. But maybe that's me being selfish because I want to hear, the beats with, vocals on them. But yeah.
Do you ever get vocals back to the beat and say, oh, shit, now I have to remix the beat because there was just too much in there and now I need to make more space for the vocals?
I have done that before. Yeah, and I've actually sent out beats for people to put hooks on them and then gone back to them and says, hey, like, this is super cool. Like, we need to turn this into a full song. And then we end up turning it into a full song. So, yeah, it just depends. But yeah, sometimes I do find them coming back, especially at the early point when I was doing it. They would come back and be like, oh, I'm going to have to remix this. But because I had a little bit of experience working in studios and one of my closest friends had one at the time, I would go in and help him with bands and stuff. It was all live stuff. It was different to this, but I had a little bit of experience with that, so I was able to, when I'm working in the project, I set it up in a way where if the vocal did come back to me, I could go back in, and it was easy for me to make changes. I hadn't like bounced it out, or do you know what I mean? There was ways that I got around doing it to make it quicker, but. A few times I got them back and I was like, oops, there's too much. I need to take some stuff out or mix it better at least,
Yeah, no, I do that all the time. And, it depends on the vocals and their tone. And some people in the chat are talking about downloading acapellas and testing those out in the beats. And that's something I've done as well. I don't know if that's something you've done, Levi, but it's something I've recommended.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, you've got Splice and you've got all of these other places where you can get a cappella stuff from now that you can test it out on. So yeah, that's a really good idea. In fact, that's a good idea for any producer starting out that we never had that, years ago, but we have that now. So it's good, or easy access to it, I should say, at least.
Yeah. Shout out to everyone asking questions in the chat. Continue asking. Levi, I want to ask you about your bulk deals. Have your bulk deals helped increase your sales?
Yeah, I would say they do. I wouldn't say they predominantly help. I do get a lot of people buying, multiple different beats, and they utilize that option, but I also offer discounts as well every now and again, so yeah, I think it definitely does help. I think having the option there definitely does help for sure.
Got it. So let's talk about your 2020 impact. In 2020, you exceeded 120,000 Beatstars plays. You gained nearly 6,000 followers, and you uploaded 54 beats. And right now, you have over 120 beats in your beat store. What number of beats kind of felt like the right number for you for the engagement to start kicking in?
I would say that is a really tough one, But I would say I started to notice some differences when I had around about 80 beats on my store. But I also what had improved my sound, my skill set by then. So it's really hard for me to judge whether it was because of the number of beats I had or whether it's because of my beats in general had just improved. But I think for me, 80 was definitely a good number. And I'm not uploading beats every day. I wished I could. And I'm very critical of myself. So sometimes it takes me a while to get one finished. But I'm consistently trying to get better at that and upload more weekly for sure. Because consistency is definitely key. I did start to notice when I was uploading more regularly that it was having an effect for sure.
So Matt Perry wants to know if you have any tips for inspiration.
Inspiration in the studio. Yeah, because sometimes I actually suffer with that myself. And what I actually do is I find producers that I'm fans of, and then I will go and watch them beat making. And we have like platforms like Twitch, and there's a lot of Beatstars producers on there, and just some producers that I follow, and I just watch them. And it might not be within the same style of music, but I will just watch them when I'm sitting in the studio. If I can't, if I'm really frustrated, I really want to make beats. I'm like, I need to upload a beat this week. I will just get some inspiration from either watching, other producers making beats, or I just listen to music, or, listen to something different that I don't normally listen to. Watch a movie, sometimes I hear like music in a movie that inspires me. So yeah, I think finding inspiration is going to be different for everyone, but that's what works for me, definitely.
So I look at your beats, and the plays are just great. 1,000+ plays on every beat on your Beatstars page. How long have these plays been consistently high for you?
They have been going really well since I switched up my branding a little bit, and also since I started really concentrating on the R&B stuff. And yeah, I think, and also becoming uploading more regularly as well. I noticed that I was getting more traction to those beats for sure. I think it's more so because of the beats I'm making, and I'm probably utilizing the tags a bit more. I'm like the worst person for tagging beats. Like, I am the worst. Because sometimes I'm creating beats and I can't even hear a specific artist on it. Most of us probably all go through that at some point. But yeah, that's when I started to notice, an increase in plays.
Do you think part of it is because not too many producers are making R&B beats, and not too many of them are consistently focusing on R&B sounds?
Potentially, that could be potentially the case. But there are some dope R&B producers on the Beatstars platform, and I follow and watch some of them, and I have been for a while. But yeah, I think that could be part of it. But I've also recently, just through looking at stats and stuff, noticing a bit more of my target audience, and it seems to be predominantly female artists, which is quite interesting for me. And I think that's a good thing, because I don't think maybe that's market is, I wouldn't say saturate, but I think maybe that market's not being pushed into as much as maybe some, a bit more male orientated, I think, potentially.
What statistics, what analytics were you looking at to determine that?
Well, I was using the BeatStars stats. I was also, just utilizing social media. I'd be uploading my beats to social media as well, like Instagram and stuff like that. And you can see the stats and you can determine who's the biggest part of your audience. So yeah, I was kind of shocked, but also just in general, like people directly reaching out to me as well. It tends to be predominantly female artists that reach out to me on Instagram, interested in working with me. So that kind of helped me understand my audience a little bit more, which I think is key. I think it's one of the keys as well.
You, a couple minutes ago, kind of alluded to your upload schedule and consistency. For you, what have you found to be a good upload schedule?
For me, currently I'm uploading one beat a week. I definitely think I could do more, but I think that is definitely I think Mike Trampy mentioned once you should be at least trying to upload 2 beats a week. And I think that's kind of the general consensus of what people think works. But then I know people that, bulk upload, they'll upload 5 beats at the end of the month so I just tend to try and do it each week. I've been testing out the times as well to see what makes a difference. And obviously BeatStars has a good way of you, knowing when you're getting more plays and, during the times of the day. So I've kind of been utilizing that as well, which kind of says to me, the people that follow me or the people that, are looking out for my music are generally online at that time looking for it. So trying to put it in front of them when it's there, when they're online.
So here's a question. What do you think about, is this in your future, I guess, live streaming your beat making sessions?
Yeah, it's something I really want to do because I feel I have a lot of good information to provide people, and just some of the things that I do in my production that I think could help people. Because I used to be one of these people that would buy every new plugin that came out, and then I would put it on every single track that I had. But now if I was to open a project from when I first started to now, there's so much less stuff on it than there was before because I was trying to add too much. So I think that's good to show people that you don't have to be, using every single plugin you've got that you have to your, what you've got, and it's not needed. So just kept it more simplistic but yeah, I'd love to do that. In fact, I was testing something out the other day, and seeing if I could get it to work. Yeah, I'd definitely be down for that.
That's such a vulnerable. I've done it before, and it's nerve-wracking because there's always that possibility, no matter who you are, that you're going to make a terrible beat, and everyone's going to see how weird you are. Because I'll look at other producers' streams, and they just go in, and it's flawless. 8-bar loop, and then here are the drums. And then within, an hour, it's a hit. I'm like, no, that's not how I look in the studio.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Sometimes it takes me a week to finish one beat. So, they would have to sit there and be patient with me if they was watching me every day of the week. I mean, maybe that's a good way to keep audience retention. Maybe, I don't know, get them back every night and show them a new step to the beat that you're doing. So yeah, I mean, it's something I think it's interesting for sure. And I think, because I have a little bit of a musical background, not that it's needed, but I think it would be good for people to see, I think.
Okay, but Matt, that wasn't start to finish. Those were collabs anyway. I just want to be clear. I don't want this mythology following my name. But yeah, I mean, at very least with you could be doing more interesting stuff like playing guitar and playing live bass. That's cool to watch. I don't know. I don't dance. I don't do any. I don't know.
I'm sure you could find something, man. I'm sure you could find something.
Something. Yeah. I don't know. I can eat while
You
I
can
make
get on your
beats. I
decks
don't know.
maybe and do some sampling on your decks or something like that.
Yeah, maybe, but it's all digital anyway. So
That's
I don't
true.
know. I feel like a Muppet. Anyway, let's talk YouTube. Is it fair to say that you don't really upload beats to YouTube very often?
Yeah, I've tried it. If I'm being honest, and I think it can be very time consuming. It potentially like and if you're especially when you're first starting out, and it takes a lot of patience. I mean, anything you do in the producer world, it takes a lot of patience, right? Regardless of what you're doing, whether it's uploading to YouTube or trying to make sales or whatever it is, it takes time. But I decided to utilize platforms that were working for me rather than wasting time on something that I didn't really feel was actually helping me. But when I get to a point where I feel maybe I need to expand the business or I need to try a different avenue, then I think I would maybe try YouTube. I do every now and again, just get the inspiration to create a video and upload it. But yeah, I think just for me, I realized what platforms were helping me the best and tried to concentrate on that more to kind of really start the ball rolling, and that seemed to work.
Yeah, I would like to, and I'm going to talk to more producers who, like you, are not using YouTube as a central source of traffic, because there are a lot of producers out there that really don't use YouTube that much, but they're making a lot of sales. I mean, a lot of sales.
Yeah.
And I think that the narrative out there is that if you're not big on YouTube, you're not going to do well on BeatStars, and I don't think that's true at all.
Definitely not.
I know it's not true at all because
No.
just do some research and just wait for the Dylan Graham conversation. But so if you're not using YouTube predominantly, how are you sending traffic to your BeatStars page mostly?
So I'm utilizing Instagram. That's where most of my traffic comes from. I was, utilizing Facebook ads and all that kind of stuff, but it just didn't seem to work that well for me. And I was utilizing kind of free advertisement on Instagram by creating, me making the beat and recording it and then uploading it. And I've saying that recently, I figured out how to add the Facebook shop to Instagram. So I've now got the shop on Instagram, and I can now link so I can now link the beat as a product to the video that I've just created, which is super cool. So that really helps. And also just utilizing the advertisement, the promote system on BeatStars. I think that's been working pretty well for me as well. I don't overuse it, but I use it to try and help, boost some engagement, and yeah, that does really help. I generally what I do is any kind of sales I make, I generally put half of it back into helping me grow the brand and just grow. Whether it's, I just invest back into it, whether it's I need a new plugin or I need a new sound pack or I need something else to help me, get better at what I'm doing.
Okay, so you just said a lot. Can you explain how you, because this is something that people have been trying to figure out how to do forever, how you integrated the shop feature for beat sales? I want to learn. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, well, BeatStars already has a Facebook catalog link, and you just have to have a Facebook page, and you also need to have a Facebook business account, which I think if anyone's running ads, they should have, I think. And then you just need to set it up on Facebook. I do the Beatstars Academy shows every Wednesday, and I think me and Jamil potentially going to be going over that one week. So everyone tune into that one because we will show you how it's done. But Yeah, it's actually really simple once you know how, and it's actually really good once you've. The cool thing about the BeatStars and how it integrates is that you don't have to create every upload. It automatically uploads everything into your catalog, your shop. So every time you upload a beat, that's it. It's in your catalog, and it's super cool. You can utilize it on Facebook, but I think because predominantly most of my traffic comes through Instagram, I use it there, and that seems to be helping.
So how do your actual Instagram posts look? I see a lot of producers posting beats to Instagram, and it's just either a visualizer or it's a picture with music on it. Yours don't quite look like that. How do you describe your process for creating these Instagram posts?
I try to mix it up. If I've tried all sorts of different stuff. When I first started, it was the whole camera, jumping around. Everyone did that at one point. Listen to my new beat, check this out, it's fire or whatever. And then I switched it up, and it was someone that gave me advice. It was just to show my face on camera so people can relate to you a bit more. So I started doing that. I wasn't speaking, but I was just, showing my face, and I'd be at my keyboard and doing that. Those worked amazingly really well when I first started. And the branding and the theme, it was the whole purple color that really helped as well. And it was trying to keep consistent with that. I think at one point I was uploading a new video every other day. And that was working as well. And then I tried to switch it up. I've been doing some different things recently. I would just do like a screen recording of the new beat that I've uploaded onto BeatStars, and it would have the picture of the track image that I'd created, and stuff like that. And then every now and again I'll do a video. I think for me it was kind of like the color purple and the vibes of the studio as well. People see the whole studio set up, that gets people interested as well. So yeah, I just try to mix it up. I don't think I have any particular kind of structure to it right now, at least.
Somebody mentioned physical merch, but you're actually wearing your own physical merch. Are you selling that through BeatStars?
Yeah, through Printful, yeah.
Okay, so you use the Printful integration.
Yeah.
I can answer this question, yes. I don't know if that's directed towards you. I know you have your own domain.
Yeah.
Levi, do you think it's best that a producer beat maker sticks to a specific type of beat, or is it possible to grow? Oh my God. I think you typed too fast. Yeah. Can you be versatile, or should you stick to one sound? That's one of those conversations that comes up all the time.
Yeah. No, I think you can be versatile. I don't think you should limit yourself. I have, purely just because I went from creating music that maybe I never grew up listening to or stuff like that, or was just trying to create what everyone else was creating, to then start to create music that I love to create. And then once I finish the beat, that I could just listen to it over and over and over again and not get bored of it. So I tend to make music that I love. And I think that's what's really helped me, like personally, to get to the point where I am now, is because I really love what I'm doing. I'm vibing with everything that I'm doing. I love it. And that seems to be coming across to other people. And then they experience that as well, But just to answer your question, I don't think it, I know loads of producers out there, and you probably do as well, Payne, that create multiple genres. And it's just whatever you feel it like in the moment. I don't think you should push yourself into one corridor or one lane.
I think it's more of a challenge for your marketing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Definitely.
Yeah, predominantly it is. I mean, if you have loads of money to invest, then why? You could have different beat stores with different, genres on them. But I predominantly work in the genre that I work in because mainly, like I said, it's what I enjoy, but also it works for me.
So I wanted to pick up on something you said. You mentioned using BeatStars promo, what have you found that has worked for you? Because there are a lot of different options.
Yeah.
How did it work for you? What do you recommend to someone who's considering getting some BeatStars promo?
So start off small, like any kind of ad platform that you're going to be using. Start off with small numbers, like invest small numbers. I think promoting your profile is underrated. I think that works really well because you're promoting you as yourself. And I generally, when I drop a new beat, I generally kind of like start a promotion on that. Start small, like $5 a day potentially, and maybe like over a 5-day period or something. And that kind of starts the ball rolling, and then people start to see it. And I think, like with just uploading, I think on the BeatStars platform, how it works best is if you're using advertisement, to not like do like, say you got $100 budget, right? Don't blow your whole $100 on one day. Like, spread it out, because the more people start to see you and you're popping up all the time, they might not click on it the first time and listen to it the first time, but if they keep seeing it, they might be like, yo, this dude keeps turning up, must be good, let me check him out, and then that just kind of builds and gets the ball rolling. And I see that because I see like people playing the same beat like 100 times or something like that, which is really cool.
I'll be damned. All right. So we're talking about paid ads. What other kinds of paid ads have you run? I know you said Instagram, and you do that through Facebook Business Manager. Or what has your strategy been?
Yeah, so I did that. I used to use Instagram or Facebook ads at least to promote the beat making videos that I was doing on Instagram. I've tried like Google ads as well to promote my pro page and stuff like that. That worked for a while, just to bring people to my personal website, obviously pro page. But for me, if I'm being totally honest with you, I've just stuck to one, recently, and what's been working for me is the BeatStars promotion. That's really helped me to build and grow. And I've kind of stopped doing all the other advertisement because I wasn't seeing any results from it. I was getting engagement, but it wasn't translating into anything else other than just engagement, which I don't think is a bad thing. Because sometimes it might take someone to see you for like over and over again for 6 months before they're interested in purchasing anything from you. So, but I just decided to, financially just concentrate on one for now, at least.
Sorry, I'm getting a question in from Matt. How has mentorship been valuable for you?
Yeah, 100%. Not direct mentorship, but I think, joining the MEC club when, I don't think it was when it first started. I wasn't sure, but I joined at one point, didn't I? And then I left and then came back again. But yeah, I think it can be good. But you don't necessarily have to join, these things, or, you can just watch a certain person on YouTube. Like, there's one guy that I watch all the time. He uses Logic, and he's really dope at, mixing and mastering that kind of stuff. And I've learned a lot from him. So I kind of class him that he's been my mentor, but indirectly, Who
was that?
Sean Devine. Don't know if you know Sean Devine.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've learned a hell of a lot from him. And the fact that I use Logic, he uses Logic. It translated easier for me.
So I'm sure over the years, your processes and habits have changed, and your mentality has changed as well.
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest changes you've made based on experience?
I think for me, it is confidence, first thing, because that was a big thing for me. Like doubt. I had a lot of doubt that I couldn't do it. But even though I loved music that much, I still wanted to do it. So I just pushed through that. But I think you have to push through that. I think everyone goes through that at some point, and we probably all still go through it to a certain point to this day, you know, even though we're seeing some success. So yeah, like just continue with it. Just, you know, be confident. Try to be as confident as you can. Not overly confident, but also willing to learn. Like, don't be naive, which is something that I was. You know, I was definitely naive, thinking there was something I could do. What else was there? Yeah, I think just in general, just, you know, be willing to learn, and be comfortable with what I was doing, and not maybe not overthink it too much. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy the process, because I think sometimes people put too much onus on. I see it all the time. Producers reach out to me and say, "Hey, like, how do you make sales?" And I look at them and they've only just started out. And I think people go into it initially with the wrong intentions. Like, everyone wants to make it a viable business, and everyone wants to earn money out of doing something they love. But I think at the beginning, you have to realize that it takes work, and there's a lot of steps you have to go through, and you make a load of mistakes and you learn from them. But then you get to that point and you feel comfortable, and things just start to automatically start. You know, it's like a train. It just keeps going and going. It doesn't stop.
Let me pick up on something that you said. I see a lot of producers focusing on making sales, but there's very little talk about relationship building.
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of repeat customers?
Yeah, I have. And I have customers that, come back to me and says, "Hey, like, they wait until I upload a new beat. They don't want to shop with anyone else." Like, and I think there's a lot to be said about that. I don't think it's necessarily just about the music, but it's the relationship that we've created, and that trust as well. I think trust is a big thing. Knowing that, you know, if they reach out to you and they've got a problem, that you will help them, and you will help them go through with the process. I think, like, that first initial sale and the customer service that you provide at that time and the communication that you have with them is key. That could be and turn into a long-standing relationship with someone, and that has definitely been the case for me.
Yeah, how do you add value to people who have bought your beats? How do you communicate with them on an ongoing basis?
Well, you know, when they ask the questions about specific licenses, you know, I'll provide them with the information. And I as well, I'm not the type of person that will send them links or tell them when I've got new beats coming out. They're looking for it. And those are the relationships that I want to build, because I don't want to be that guy, you know, just like spamming people with, "Hey, I've uploaded this new beat." You know, I don't want to force the sale into them. And I think that's been another key thing for me. But yeah, just helping them and just be there for them, just offer them advice. And, you know, I've had people reach out and say, "Hey, like, I want to buy this type of license." And then, I'm saying, "Hey, look, I don't think you should, you know, shell out that amount of money on a beat that you don't particularly know if it's going to do well or not. Like, why don't you buy this license for like $40, try it out. If it then does, you start to see some numbers, then let's talk about doing some more stuff, you know?" So I'm not like saying, "Hey, you need to buy the highest priced license." I'm not interested in that, you know? And so then straight away they're like, "Hey, like, this guy is not just about money. Like, he wants to work with me, and he wants to build this relationship." And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. They're like trying to get that first sale, or they're trying to, you know, get as much out of them as they possibly can. But you could end up making more money from them by having that conversation with them, and then they end up buying beats for you for years when they may have only bought one lease off you for $200, you know?
So back to the catalog size. Here's the question. Would you wait to have a certain number of beats, or would you start uploading from beat one if you had to do it all over again?
What do you mean by that? Like if I was to start a new Beatstars account again, would I just upload every beat that I made?
No, if you were a new producer, right?
Yep.
And let's say you didn't have that many beats completed and ready to upload, would you wait until you had, like 10, 20 and just upload them all at once to get your catalog up? Or would you immediately upload one and then two and then three and then just go from there incrementally?
No, that's an interesting question. I think I would just do it as I did before. I think I would just upload, but try and keep consistent. If I had, like, say, before I started Beatstars, I had 20 beats, I'd be right. I'm going to start off uploading one beat a week. And I know now I've got 20 weeks worth of beats to upload. And I can be consistent with that. So I'll pick a day, say like a Friday, and I will continually upload one beat every Friday. And then people could see that I'm being consistent. And I've not just uploaded 10 beats and then they're waiting another 20 weeks for another 10 beats. Do you know what I mean? I think that's how I would do it.
Okay, so we're running out of time. Tell me about your Beatstars show, because you also have a Beatstars show. How can people tune in? What is it about? What day and time is it?
Yeah, sure. So I do the Beatstars Academy show on a Wednesday. There's a lot of people in the chat that are, probably familiar with that. Me and Jamil, we talk about, some processes on the Beatstars platform and some tools that you can use. We also talk about, some marketing, not too much, but we talk about some marketing, and sometimes we utilize me as a producer as well, showing some of the experience that I've had on Beatstars and how you can benefit from using some of the tools that we have. And that's every Wednesday, 3 p.m. EST, the same time as, all of the other weekly shows that we have.